Welcome to session 0, everybody. Let's jump right in. So you all exist in the realm of Faerune. Faerune is a land where magic, elves, orcs, talking animals, everything that you can think of from books and movies is all normal here. This is a land where magic roams free. And all of you are very accustomed to that, being of various backgrounds yourself, genasies and elves and humans and tieflings.
No.
But there's something strange going on. All of you have noticed, probably for the past week, and whatever you've been doing within your separate lives, that you've been meeting people who have been claiming they're from worlds that you've never heard of. Places like Hyrule and Berk, a land called Nar Shaddaa, where apparently there's something known as technology that lives there. Each of you encountered various people from realms that you're not familiar with, and you're starting to get the impression that maybe something's going wrong with the world. At night, when you look up at the stars, you can see almost a crack. It's a sliver of color that goes through space. Reds into blues, into violets, into yellows and greens. It's just sort of this line of color that goes across. It's barely perceptible. When you ask people about it, most of them just sort of shrug you off and walk away. But the four of you have seen this, and it does concern you. We start our journey with Melissa's character. Can you tell us who you are and describe what you look like?
My name is Grim, and I look like this. A little prettier. Way prettier. I have horns right here. Scars.
You've got a particular appendage that's fascinating. It's unique to you.
I have a metal hand.
Ooh.
With spikes coming out of the fingers, and it goes to about here. So it's basically like a metal arm.
Nice. And you are a warlock, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And for those of you that don't know, a warlock, they pull their powers from a particular patron, someone that she has pledged loyalty to. Can you tell us about your patron?
His name is Alexander
Hamilton.
I just do. And he, let me see. He looks like, if I can pull it up. He looks a little ominous.
Mm-hmm. Well, very nice.
Sexy.
Yeah, he's got.
I would draw my powers from that too. Hell yeah.
Oh, and this is me.
Ooh.
Nice.
Cool. Hot.
So,
Blood and
Grim,
all, you know.
tell us what you're doing, Grim. You know, before you make it to this tavern in the city of Phandalin, what have you been up to?
I've been killing people.
You've been killing people.
I was gonna come when you transport us with a head that I cut off.
Why were you cutting off heads?
It was a bounty.
A bounty. So, why'd you pick up the bounty? Tell us about the bounty. What makes it important?
Money.
Fair
Money.
enough.
Money.
Like it.
So,
Ongoing.
So you're going to go and claim this bounty then in the city of Phandalin. Perhaps you have picked it up there and you're bringing the head back to the magistrate's office to get your reward?
As proof.
As proof. Sounds like a plan. And so you walk up to the magistrate's door and you knock on it a few times. Is there anything that you want to say, or are you just going to knock and wait for them to open?
I was gonna kick in the door, throw the head on the desk, and said, Pay me.
And sitting at the table where the head has just boom, 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 and just sort of like hit down. And it didn't just hit a table. This poor man named Sildar, who is actually one of the 3 leaders in town and has taken it upon himself to be magistrate, sort of the law, if you will, was eating dinner. And he was just getting ready to grab a spoonful of stew when this head comes in and like just goes face first onto his plate. And he's like, hell, that ruins the appetite. And he sort of sits up and he looks at you and he goes, I remember you, Grim, isn't it?
Yes.
A particular reason why you thrown this head upon my table?
Because I need the money.
He sort of like grabs the hair and like pulls to look at the face because it's deep in his stew. He's like, well, I'm damned, you did it. I imagine that you didn't just kill him with the whole gang. Am I correct?
We killed them all.
I'm sure you did. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten the leader. He picks up the head and sort of shakes the stew off of his face. And he's like, yeah, that's a positive ID. He just sort of like looks to like one of the deputies and goes, would you take this out back for processing? Give me a new bowl of stew. I'll probably be hungry in an hour. All right, so, and he starts to look through his records and he goes, for this particular gentleman, I believe we agreed upon 50 gold. Does that sound about right to you?
75.
75. And why do you think you're deserving of extra?
Because we agreed on 75.
I distinctly remember us agreeing to 50. Now, what was in your rattled brain of 75, I do not know. Is that your persuasion?
Are you trying to
I am just showing my arsenal in which I cut his head off. And I am saying 75.
Roll an intimidation check.
Ooh.
Our first roll of the game, by the way, everybody. Our first roll.
Which one? What die?
You're going to roll a d20 and then add your intimidation to that. It's going to be in that center column, and you'll see intimidation.
Just one?
Yep, run one roll of the d20.
And what am I looking for to add?
in that center column, you should see intimidation towards them that have a plus or whatever.
And I have 15.
You just made it. I rolled a 14 as a counter to it, so you.
Oh.
Sildar, who is no slouch when it comes to fighting, looks at you and goes, "Damn, Grim, you got a pay on you." Fine. He reaches into the drawer and gets another 25 gold, and he goes, "You know what? You deserve this tip." And he gives you 75 gold, which you now have in your possession, which you can use to shop as you will. He looks at you and he goes, "Now, I'm not going to tell you where to spend that, though I would appreciate if you would spend it in our kind little town here. We could certainly use the economy boost. I'd recommend perhaps getting a bite to eat over at the tavern there, the Stonehill Inn. Great food, good company. The little dwarf I know runs it. But you do what you may. Is there anything else I can help you with, my dear Grim?"
I have a question for the DM.
Yes.
Does he have any liqueur around?
Oh, he's a cowboy. Of course, he's got liquor around. You can see, so behind him, he's got this like sort of menagerie of bottles and hooch and some good stuff, all very colorful back there. And he kind of sees you eyeing and he goes, "What do you want to drink?"
Then I find the biggest one. and start chugging it and walk out.
Okay.
Gosh, son of a.
That's hot.
And then I say, thanks for the tip.
Fine. You know what? Whatever. Fine. You can have it. But my compliments. Hope we choke on it.
I have a question for the DM.
Please.
Does this character have a big white mustache?
He's got like a Van Dyke goatee action going on here.
Okay. I need the facial hair in my. Okay, thank you.
It's all white. He's dressed in kind of a typical duster. Looks like he's probably worn a hat all his life because he's got a little bit of a bald spot, but longer hair in the back. Kind of looks like an unintentional mullet right now, unfortunately. Older gentleman, definitely some wear and tear to his facial features, some scars. You can tell he's been in combat. And as he watches Grim go, he's like, I swear, no respect anymore. Whatever. And so you have acquired a bottle of his brandy. And it's you got about a good pint or so in that bottle that you choose to drink. I want you to go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw. So you're going to roll a d20 once and then add your Constitution save. It's going to be in a small box on the left. You'll see
Con.
it says con and it'll have a plus next to it. Go ahead and add that. We're going to see how well you do with this liquor. You got to beat 9. What you got?
7.
Oh,
Oh, wait. Yeah, 7.
7. All right, you were close. So the roll to beat was a 9 for it. That's what I rolled to see how, you've had a long day. You've had, a tough fight getting this particular bounty, taking not just his gang out, but him himself. You've got some cuts and some bruises from it. And so as you take in this liquor, it's good. Like you're like, you probably suck on it just a little bit too long. And you start to feel tipsy. You just kind of like, whoa, you've got that feeling about you. You're not like, on your face drunk yet, but you're feeling pretty good. Like you've got a good buzz going on, right? Life is good. Are you looking to head to the tavern, or is there anything else you want to do in town first? And the sun's starting to set right now. It's kind of just red on the horizon.
What's at the tavern?
So at the tavern is where eventually all of you will meet up. But before you, in this town of Phandalin, you can see in the center there is a fountain that has 2 statues on it. You can tell it's an orc and an elf. You're not really sure why that's significant, but there's a statue there to them. You can see in the distance there are some farms. There is definitely a bazaar on the other side of the tavern, and the tavern's kind of like almost a centerpiece with this fountain. Tavern's a pretty big place. You can tell there's an inn attached to it where you could get a bed of breakfast for the night, kind of a thing. Further down, there's some roads and streets that kind of lead past your vision.
You said it was a fountain, right?
Yep, there's a fountain.
I'm gonna go for a swim.
Right on.
You can do that. So tell me about this swim. Are you getting buck naked, or are you just jumping in fully clothed?
Take off my boots, then go in.
Fair enough. So you do that, and you jump in, and you're splashing around, and you hear this sort of, and it's this.
Is it Mustache Man?
No, it's not. It's a teenage girl. What you couldn't see is that on the other side of the fountain, she was sort of polishing and scraping off some of the bird crap and stuff that's on this these statues, and doing a really just loving job on it, as if it's special to her. And all of a sudden, she just hears you on the other side, and so she looks around the 2 statues, which they're full size, orc and elf. So she couldn't see you walk up, and she kind of looks around. She goes, "Can I help you?"
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Took another drink. Roll another Constitution saving throw for me. This time you got to beat an 11.
6. 9.
9. Okay, you are steadily getting more drunk. Like that buzz has turned into this giddy feeling that you have. It's nice and warm. And as you're looking around, it's almost as if you're underwater. There's a little bit of a little sway, a little movement to the world.
No blurriness.
Little blurriness. You're feeling real good right now. And so she looks at you and sees you drinking and goes, I hope you're not planning to be long. I just cleaned all of this. It's been a long day for me, miss.
Keep your panties out of a bunch. I'll be out in a minute.
There's at the tavern over there, you could get a bath if you wanted instead of using this public fountain.
Fine. I get out of the fountain, splash a little water on her, and then I head to the tavern.
Damn travelers, and she just see her scrubbing off some of the water and everything. And so you make it to the tavern. Did you put your boots back on? Or are you just carrying them with you?
Over the shoulder.
Yep, I'm feeling it.
Sopping wet.
And so you walk into the tavern, and you are greeted with a very warm glow, sights and smells that are quite tantalizing to you right now. You can smell meat and vegetables being cooked on grills. There is ale freely flowing from the keg in the back. People are lined up all around in tables. It's a pretty full night. There's definitely spaces for you to hang out. There's space by the bar. There's a table in the back corner that's all by itself. So where would you like to go?
Is there a really fat man in the crowd?
I suppose the fattest and sure.
Has he got a lot of food?
He's got enough. And you see,
I persuade him to share.
How do you persuade him?
I don't want to say this.
Chaos.
Female charisma.
Let's just say I'm really wet, so I gotta take off some clothes.
Okay. All right. So you're sort of like in your underskivvies, right? And you're just
Yeah.
all right.
Just flop them on the table. Just
What do you say to this gentleman? He's definitely a portly man. You can see he's enjoying his food. He's not being gross about it. He's clean and nice, but definitely has a big plate of food. And he sort of looks up at you as he sees your clothes being laid down, and he gives you one of those up and downs. He was like, hello there. Hello.
Will I softly and gently caress his beard?
Um,
He has a beard. And I asked him if he would like a guest.
Roll persuasion check for me. Go ahead.
What die? 20?
20. Yep.
Persuasion?
Yep. And then add your persuasion to that, your plus 2 persuasion. It's going to be in the middle column.
I don't see this happening. It's a 5.
Yeah. And then you have anything to add to it? Any persuasion to add? Oh, a 0 to your persuasion? Really? That's unfortunate.
Really?
Well,
Wait. Yeah. No, that's perception. Persuasion 5, so I have 10.
there we go. I'm sorry,
Hey.
your charisma is too high for you to have nothing in persuasion.
maybe you should change dice. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. This ain't doing it for me.
Well, with a 10, that's fine. He looks at you and he goes, I suppose I wouldn't mind the company. Feel free to have a seat, my dear.
You're too kind.
Well,
Sarcasm.
you're a pretty lady, and I wouldn't want you to be lonely tonight. Can I can I interest you in anything to eat or drink?
Some ale would be nice.
Wow. Bartender, sir, please come here. And you can, if you watch his gaze, this dwarf comes out from around the bar, and you see him sort of hop down. You can tell the bar is at a higher level for him back there, so he can, work with all the patrons. He hops down. And around the corner is this red-haired, long red beard dwarf. He is wearing a blue shirt with suspenders attached to his brownish pants, kind of a very earthen tone there. He's got the look of someone who is probably in his, I'd say 40s, late 40s, almost 50. Old enough for a dwarf that he's seen some things. And he kind of toddles up to you and goes, hello there. My name's Toblin, Toblin Stonehill. In fact, this is my establishment. Welcome, welcome. What can I do for you, Bertrand? Well, this lovely thing, is in need of some of your finest ale. And he goes, Toblin just looks right at you and he goes, blink twice if you're in trouble.
It's okay, Rusty. Just get the ale.
Oh, you just boot my nose. Okay, ale. Is there anything else? Would you like some food, perhaps, or just the ale?
What kind of food do they serve?
Anything you want. Meats, veggies.
Dragon leg, or like a turkey leg. Do they have that? Like a turkey leg? I was just trying to think of something mystical.
Yeah, no, we've got emu legs. They're very similar.
Bring me one of them.
But coming right up, he looks at Bertrand. I suppose we're putting this on your tab. And he kind of looks, Bertrand, this large gentleman looks at you for like, well, of course, I will be happy to cover whatever the little miss wants. And Toblin's like, of course you would. And then before he leaves, he kind of like motions to you, like he goes, seriously, if this guy bothers you at all, just let me know. The bouncers will take care of him.
What to know?
He's an acquired taste, I'm just saying. And then he walks away and he goes, I'll be happy to get that for you, no problem. And you just see him toddle off. He goes back to the back. He comes like a few seconds later and he brings you a kind of a big jug of ale for the table, and then leaves a plate with a big turkey leg on it, emu being a bit bigger. He goes, there you are, enjoy. If either of you need anything, just let me know. I'm Toblin. And then he toddles off. Is there anything else that you would like to do with your evening, Grim?
Nah, I'm gonna eat some food and drink some ale.
Sounds good. So we're going to cut over to Eli. So as Grim is eating her emu leg and drinking her ale, plus drinking her brandy, already fairly intoxicated, enjoying herself with 75 gold richer and a lot of other people pissed off at her, we cut to Eli's character. Eli, take a second and tell us who you are and describe what your character looks like.
Hey, I am Yassin Driftwood, and I am a water genasi folk hero type person, and and this is what I look like. I have, I don't know, you can kind of see it, but I have blue skin. I have kind of those like Zora, Legend of Zelda Zora ears. They're pointy with like, they look like fins. I've got, on my right arm, I've got like swirl tattoos that are like kind of like a water pattern. And I'd like to say he's not overly muscular, but you can tell he's got like
Rocking the dad bod.
maybe, yeah. He's got like a dad bod, but he's also like, he looks tough. And I'd say he's pretty tall, probably like 6'5".
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah.
So how tall were you, Grim? I'm just curious.
Rather large woman, but not too large. I guess 5'8".
5'8". Okay, cool.
Well,
So, nice. It's just nice to know everybody's heights, just for funsies. So Yassin, tell me, what are you up to right now? So again, just like Grim, you are in the vicinity of Phandalin, this city. You can approach it from any direction you want, any which way, but you're sort of heading towards there. What brings you here?
Well, I've been on the road for a couple months. I've been looking for a specific friend who did me wrong. So I've been just kind of scoping out nearby towns. And I've come into town this evening and I've made my way, I think, toward what we said was the center of town. And I happened to see a very interesting woman climb into the fountain. And
Why did I already know it was me? I was like, oh, you have to talk about me. I was just kidding. And then you said into the fountain. I was like, oh, damn, it was me.
She was like a dark woman, and she had a head, and she was immediately fussed at. She also had like a large bottle of alcohol,
And we wanted to
You
be
did.
and I was just
damn.
just interested, like, and I got my like pack of stuff, and I just kind of walk over to a bystander and like, is she like from around here, or does anyone know who she is?
The bystander that you actually lean next to is this elf. His name is Strength, and he's older gentleman, fully gray hair, and he looks at you, and he's very stately in his dress. He's got purples and reds, red pants, very ornate with filigree and stuff all over it. Looks like he's probably a fairly important person. He just kind of looks at you and he goes, no, at least I hope not. I'm Strength, by the way. I'm one of the three who helped govern Phandalin. What brings you here, sir?
I look at him, kind of get a read on him, like, oh, he doesn't prefer the riffraff around. So I guess I kind of skirt around that and say, well, I'm just kind of new. I'm new into town, looking for places that are crowded and I can get information on anything unusual in the area, and also
Conspicuous.
Go ahead.
conspicuous areas.
Suspect.
Huh. You're one of them. More. I swear.
There's more.
These adventurers, and he sort of makes air quotes.
Uh-huh.
Keep coming to town looking for riches. He composes himself and he goes, my lad, perhaps one of the best places I would recommend going to would be the Tavern. They say the local watering hole is the greatest place to find info. If not there, you may also want to talk to our magistrate, Sildar. He's been around. He may know things, seen things. That's the best I can give you. Oh, and this warning, please do not cause trouble here. We have plenty already. Enjoy your stay in Phandalin. And he kind of bows slightly and walks away. And you sort of hear him muttering under his breath, oh, why? And just keeps going on, perhaps where he lives.
His name is Strength, right?
Strength.
Without the G.
It's without the G. It's Strength without the G. Strength.
Oh.
This
That's
is my note on him.
Stick up.
Stick-a-bass. Yep, that's a good stick-a-bass. That's a good way to. So it actually in Elven, Strength means stick-up-ass.
I knew it.
Amazing. It's a family name, of course.
Ah,
So Yassin, what do you want to do with the information that Strength gave you? Are you going to go to the tavern, or do you want to go speak to Sildar the magistrate?
I think, well, I see over at the fountain that the young lady has gotten out and is making her way to the tavern. So I think I'm going to give her some space for a little bit, I'm going to talk to Solar.
5-minute head start.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I'm going to talk to the magistrate.
Excellent. As you approach the magistrate's office, actually, you see the door open before you get ready to knock, and Sildar is standing there in front of you. He's a little bit surprised. He goes, "Oh, hello. My name's Sildar," and he kind of like scoots you back a little bit as he closes the door and locks it. He goes, "I was just locking up for the evening. Can I help you, sir?"
It's very nice to meet you. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Yassin.
Pleasure, Yassin. No?
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine.
Mr.
I'm new in town, and I met a Sir Strength who pointed me in your direction in terms of maybe getting some information about the locals around here.
Strength, yeah. That damn old elf. Of course, he's send due to me. Well, that's fine. Even though I'm technically off the clock, I suppose a magistrate's job is never done. Would you mind walking with me, son? And you see him sort of walk gingerly towards the fountain. You get to follow him?
Oh yeah, I'll accompany you. Yeah.
Excellent. So he kind of walks over to the fountain and he takes a seat down on this ledge. So it's a circular fountain with a nice, ledge onto it. So he sits down onto that and he goes, "I just need to rest my old bones, as it were." And now he's like sitting here and watching the sunset. Sit next to me. Come on, right over here. And he kind of motions to a spot next to him. So as you sit down next to him, you can see just over the magistrate's building, which is kind of a very simple old world cabin feel to it, stone and wood onto a roof that is spread across with these like Spanish tiles going over it. And you just see the sun start to dip and hit, and he goes, "Wait for it, just 1 second." And as the sun hits, this red line just kind of spreads across the roof and showers down, and it almost looks like the roof sparkles for a second, and then a few seconds later it passes, and he goes, "Every night, boy, that is probably one of the most beautiful things I see here in this city, and we've seen a lot of, well, shit, to be honest, so I take the nice as much as I can get." Now, what can I help you with? Are you looking for someone or something in particular? There was a weird lady who was here not long ago. If you want to get her out of town, I'd appreciate it.
I saw that lady, sir, and I'm going to leave that one alone if you don't mind.
Bitch stole my brandy. But anyway, not about me. It's about you. What can I do for you, boy?
Damn, that's a shame about the brandy, sir. But you see, sir, I'm looking for the man that did me wrong.
Well, that narrows it down to about every man in this town. Well done, boy. Good luck. Got any characteristics, anything that you're looking for in particular?
His name is Greg. He's stole my ship, and he's an old dirty bastard.
Greg with a G.
Greg.
Call him Old Greg.
Old Greg, that some bitch.
Old Greg. All right. Well,
he looks.
Stole your ship. What's he look like, son? I don't know many people.
He looks like me, but he's a little bit shorter. He's a right rough looking fish folk. Not to mince
I understand.
for lack of better words, sir, Mr. Magistrate.
I've traveled around some. I've run into your people before. What did you not say, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good people. Mighty fine sailors.
Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss on your ship. I can't say I know what that feels like personally, but I can tell you losing my brandy is pretty damn close. So
I lost good brandy of my own, sir.
Brandy.
I understand.
Brandy, the name of your ship.
Little tear. Sildar looks at you and he goes, I tell you, probably the best place I'd recommend for you to go to find him would be the tavern, but talk to Toblin. I've known Toblin a long time. And if anybody comes through town, they always come by his tavern. I guarantee you, if anybody looking like you, he would know. We don't get many water genasi. In fact, you're the last one that I've seen in, well, down near 2 decades. So if he knows of one, that's the place to go find out information.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, sir, for your time, and your Mr. Strength pointed me in that direction as well. So I'll take y'all's word for it and make my way to the tavern.
Nice meeting you, boy. Good luck. Hope to get your ship back.
Thank
You see Sildar walk off.
Say something about the brandy. Say something about the brandy.
You head to the tavern. As you open the door to the tavern and walk in, you see the same mess of people all around that Grim saw earlier. Only now you notice Grim at a table with a rather large gentleman who is coyly trying to talk to her and trying to touch her on the shoulder. You watch Grim kind of like take her metal arm and poke and move him away, but still smile coyly as she eats and drinks. So you see her in the corner. I would like you to roll an invest. Yeah, let's go with let's do perception. Give me a perception check.
And that is 20.
You're gonna roll a d20, and then in the middle column, you're going to see perception, and that's going to be your plus to add to whatever you roll.
Gotcha. 5.
Okay, 5. Yep. So with a 5, you see people. But as you're trying to
People.
as you're trying to look to see if maybe you can spot Greg before having to talk to anybody, it's a blur to you. You see species and genders, and you're not really sure what's going on. Perhaps since you've been on the road for so long on your own, just the sheer sight of so many people all at once is just a little bit overwhelming. And so you can't really pinpoint any one thing. But what you do notice is a dwarf coming up to you, having just.
Rusty. I said good old Rusty.
Good old. Gonna give nicknames to everybody, aren't you? Great. As this little dwarf runs up to you, red hair, red beard. He stops first at Grim's table, makes sure that she's good, waits for her to nod, and then toddles over to where you are, and he goes, hello, hi, my name's Toblin. Welcome to the Stonehill Inn. What can I do for you?
Toblin, you are the man of the hour. I was just pointed to your way by both Mr. Strength and Mr. Sildar, and
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
You all so and so.
Swear to the gods above, it wasn't me. It was Zeroku. Blame him. That damn work. And he looks at you for a second, and he's like trying to see if anything registered. And he goes, "Oh, you're not here because why don't you go to the bar? Let me get you a drink on me. No problem. What will you have?"
Oh, sir, I'll have whatever she's having. I point at Grim.
Oh, are you with her? You two aren't together, are you?
We're not personally acquainted, but I did see her in the fountain outside.
God, sure, come this way. And he kind of escorts you through the mess of people up to a spot at the bar, and he goes, "Well, there you go, just tankard of ale for you. It's pretty good. Make it myself in the back. Spike it with a little bit of cinnamon. It's really not bad. It goes down well." So he goes, "So two of our village leaders told you to talk to me. What about? I'm curious."
You're not in trouble, Mr. Toblin. I'm here on personal business.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, good. You never know. And anyway.
I'm here looking for a gentleman, roughly the same type of person as me, Water Genasi.
Okay.
And his name is Greg. And he's, like I told Mr. Sildar, He's a rough-looking son of a gun.
Ah, yeah.
Damn, Greg.
Greg, and he looks around and he goes, Water Genasi, Greg, you know, someone did pass through here not that long ago who kind of reminds me of you. I mean, we don't get Water Genasis very often. He wasn't here long, probably about an hour, got something to eat and drink and then was gone. I didn't hear his name, but I did overhear him talking about a ship that he'd newly acquired. And well, it sounded like maybe he was making plans to head east. That's about all I got. I mean, I could try to dig deeper for you, but that's all I know for right now. I mean, our docks aren't near here. They're probably about maybe 5 miles south of here. But from there, if he had his boat moored, he could easily head east. That was, I don't know, again, maybe like a few days ago. He'd have a good head start on you. I'm sorry, it could be more help.
Mr. Toblin, you've been more help than I have found within the last couple of weeks. So it does mean the trail is still relatively fresh. So I thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Look, why don't you just hang out here for a second? I'll bring you some food again on the house because we had that misunderstanding, and I just want to make sure it's all smooth. And he kind of goes to the back, brings out a plate of sort of assortment of vegetables and meats and some cheeses. Looks like maybe like an hors d'oeuvre platter kind of thing. He goes, here you go, whatever you need, just let me know. And I'm tumbling here if you need me. All right. And he kind of moves off. So anything else that you want to do in this tavern before we head to a different character, sir?
I've got this nice spread in front of me, so I kind of poke around it, make sure none of it is like seafood. Make sure it's no one I know.
Fish are friends.
Hang on. No, there's no seafood on there. You're good. It's just mostly cow and pig.
Okay. And I, for the moment, am content. I've got some fresh news on my old pal Greg,
Nice.
and I'm going to take it easy for the moment.
Sounds good. So the DM has acquired 2 in his tavern. Now moving on, let's move to Jessica's character and tell everybody, who are you and what do you look like?
Gonna have to get back into the accent. Hold on a second.
It's a Cockney, right?
It's a Cockney accent. She has a very extreme Cockney. She's very energetic and very outspoken.
Yeah.
What? Like, I don't know what you said. You went out on
My
that.
fair lady, she's like, I'm a good girl.
Sure, that works too. She is a high elf. Pretty tall, probably close to Grim's height, probably around 5'8" or something like that. She's slender, like lean muscled. She's wearing monk robes, all orange, reds, and cream colors, except like brown pants or whatever. Dark red hair, braided, usually slung over one shoulder, and always carrying a satchel or some kind of bag on her side.
And then you also have an animal companion.
Oh yes, let me get him out here. Hold on. He's going to represent my rat, my pet rat. No, I'm just kidding. No, he is a pet rat. His name is Crumbs. He's a white and brown rat, and he's my adorable little best friend. So.
And what did you say your name was?
Oh, Nim.
I would die for crumbs immediately. Whatever,
Right?
like
I'm
crumbs.
So as you're also approaching this little town of Phandalin, what brings you out here? What journey led you to this place?
Well, I was just out exploring some caves nearby. They were very exciting, to be telling the truth, but other than that, picked up a couple trinkets here and there, and I'm just looking for the next adventure.
One of the trinkets that you carry is this amulet, if you will. Is that something that you keep on your person? Is it in your satchel right now?
Oh, right now that's in my satchel.
So
that's a
You're right.
no, an amulet.
So this amulet, you can feel it start to vibrate a little bit in your satchel, and you sort of feel this almost like a humming vibration coming from the satchel.
Sure, it's a medallion.
Oh, it's an amulet. Well, it has a gem. Anyway, I'm going to press my hands together.
It's pretty useful when you're on the road.
And they're going to glow a little bit, and then I'm going to reach into my satchel because I'm not quite sure.
Mm-hmm.
A little safety, and pull out the gem amulet.
Okay.
I have.
So when she presses her hands together, she has gloves, the gloves of thievery, and she has the ability to activate them once per day and allow her to grab an object and nullify its magical effect. Everybody keep that in mind. It might come in handy.
But the characters don't know yet.
yeah.
So there you go.
Characters won't know unless you ask her, but you as players know. And all of you, just in case any of you are wondering, every one of you has some sort of a special item or something on them that does something. Eli, I need to work with you on what yours is going to be. You're the only one I haven't yet, but it could be attached to your sword, your shield. You can let me know and we can make it. It could be your tattoos, just something that gives you a little extra oomph. But Emily and Melissa, you know what yours is that gives you a little extra oomph.
Yes.
Where is that in our character sheet?
I think
It'll be under your inventory.
Oh, okay.
yours is called Thorn or something.
Mm-hmm. You have Thorn, and then you also have like your own amulet as well to contact.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
The amulet.
Yeah, different amulet. And so as you pick, Nim, as you pick up this gem, it is describe the way the gem looks.
It's very blue.
Mhm.
Blue. Quite shiny, actually. I liked it because it was shiny. But other than that, it just seems to have some weird, I don't know, life about it.
Mhm. And there's a glow that's coming from it, and the gem is about the size of your hand, almost from middle finger to the heel of your palm. It's a good size to it, a good chunk of rock. And it starts to glow and pulsate. And as you look into it, you see a face start to form. And this is the face of a dragonborn. A dragonborn is a dragon person. And in fact, this comes from a previous campaign where Nim's character was originated. You affectionately call this person Lord Snooty.
Ah, yes, there you went, Lord Snooty. There you are. Hi.
In life, this dragonborn was a powerful mage, and he desperately wanted this gem. And in fact, went on an adventure with Nim and others, and got himself trapped inside of the thing. And so basically, he's buzzing you right now. He's sending you a ping.
Gonna shake it a little bit and be like, I wondered when you were gonna show up.
And you see his face form, and you just kind of see this old dragon snout, very regal looking, with some gray tufts hanging down from under him. And he goes, "Hello? Hi. Oh, is that my voice?
You're not coming through very well.
What the hell happened to my voice?"
I don't know. Last time I saw you, you had a great voice.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. Look, what are you going to do with me?
Do with you?
Are you going to just leave me in here, or are you going to help me get out? I can make it worth your while.
Now, you know me, Lord Snooty. I am not.
I told you, don't be called that.
Lord Snooty, listen. Who's in the gem?
Fine.
Who is in the gem?
I'm in the gem.
That's right. Now, told you I was going to figure out a way to get you out of it, wasn't I? I just picked you up like an hour ago How am I supposed to already find out how you get you out of
Look,
there?
it's cramped in here, okay? It's cramped, and I swear
Well, who
I'm
went
not.
and got them so stuck?
Look, I don't think I'm alone in here, is all I'm saying, okay? But just hurry it up. Figure it out.
You have company,
Maybe.
but you two have fun. I'm going to go find food.
Don't you dare put me in your set. Don't you, that's your fire. And then, you know, when you put them away. What do you choose to
But
do?
I have to
now?
be careful because Crumbs likes to sit in there, so I don't just shove it in there. He doesn't throw.
Poof. There goes Crumbs. Cool. So you put away the gem, and you're making your way into town. Are you?
I am, but I'm going to make my way through the bazaar to town, like into the center.
So in the bazaar again, all of you arriving around the same time. It's sunset. You just see somebody get out of the fountain and walk her way into the tavern. You
How many people are looking at me, bro? I didn't notice anyways.
you just walk-
Well, that seems refreshing.
Oh, it really is. Yes, I highly recommend it. Yes, I really would recommend doing that. And as you turn to look, you see this small little cat person. Tabaxi is the species. They're cat people. This one's rather short. Most tabaxi are the average size of humans, around 5'8", 5'9", 5'10". Some can be 6 feet or more. They're generally not a huge species, but this particular one is like 5 foot. Like this is just a little kitty guy. He's wearing very elaborate robes, but when you really study them, you feel like he's not an actual mage, but like a magician, a stage performer kind of thing. It's a little too much glitter, a little too much, look at me. He's definitely not the real deal, but you see him closing down his bazaar, which is this big house on wagon wheels. He's starting to lock up the door and everything, and make sure all of that is secured. You kind of got a peek inside as he was closing it. You could see some weapons glint off of the sunlight that kind of pierces through. And he goes, I was thinking actually about jumping into the lake myself before taking a nap.
The cats like that.
What, the fountain?
Yeah, I thought cats didn't like water.
Sweetie, I'm not just a cat, I'm a tabaxi. There's a slight.
Well, I mean, cat folk.
Yeah. And he kind of like rubs his face a little bit and he goes, no. Some of our kind, I admit, they don't like the water, but me, yes, I love it. I do.
I apologize. Didn't
refreshing.
mean to stereotype.
That's okay. Happens. My name's Seth, by the way. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. Nim.
Nim? Oh, very nice.
Yes.
He starts.
She puts a hand on her bag and like steps
You
into
have
a
a-
fighting pose. No,
You have a little friend with you. How much for the snack?
he's not a snack. He's a friend. Just like your cat person who likes water doesn't mean all rats are food.
Well, fine. I apologize. I will refrain from. Yeah, okay, I will. Unfortunately, I've closed for the day, but perhaps if you see me in the morning, I might be willing to make a trade for your friend. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I unless you really want to.
No.
Fine. You can see my wares. Then is there something I could help you with? Help you find?
Well, you're closing. I don't want to bother you too much.
If you don't need me, I'll go.
I don't know. I haven't decided if I like you or not.
A lot of people have that reaction around me. Honestly, it's quite rude, but I'm not offended.
You tried to eat my rat.
It's a rat.
Valid. It's a rat.
I tell you what, fine. Oh, there's another cat friend over there. Hi, how you doing? I'm just going to go now. Unless there's anything you need help with? No, perhaps.
Not right now.
All right. Well, if you're
I
in,
might see you in the morning though.
okay, fine. I have a lot of wares, weapons, armor, artifacts, things you can't
Artifacts.
find. Artifacts, things you can't find anywhere else. Oh, I see your interest. I have artifacts to dazzle the senses and ensnare the mind.
Clothing, huh?
I am.
I can't see anything.
Not at all. Not tonight. No. I can't give you dibs.
Oh,
No dibs.
no.
Can't call dibs. But
First thing in the morning, whether you open like
Right.
4:30, 5 o'clock.
crack it on. Whatever dawn is, I'm up. I'm a cat.
I'll do that.
Sounds good. If you want to spend a night, I'd recommend going to the tavern over there. Yes. He will. Toblin. Ask for Toblin. Tell him that Seth sends you. He'll give you a discount on one of his best rooms. I guarantee it.
They have good food.
Oh, they got great food. Everything you could want. That are brats. Good.
Good. We're just gonna like keep an eye on him, but like just a sidewalk away.
Of course.
Holding your bag. Holding the bag.
He's on the other side.
He just
Hold the bag.
and you just see him turn and walk off. And he actually kind of like climbs up the outside of his little house and crawls in through a window at the top and closes it. And that's where he's going to go. And
Love
that is his bed for the night. So you walk into the tavern. Yes, Nim?
I'm going to walk slowly, kind of just happily observing the rest of the town as the sun's setting.
And what you can see, a lot of people, other shopkeepers, you're watching them kind of close up their tents, they're rolling down the flaps, tying things off. A few people are sort of greeting each other warmly at the fountain and kind of heading towards the tavern for a little bit of nightlife that Phandalin has to offer. You swear you caught a glimpse of a blue-skinned gentleman kind of head into the tavern before you. And then also you see an old man walking off in the distance. Your elven sight gives you just a little bit further view, and you can see this old man in a duster kind of toddling off towards the edge of town and turn down one of the side roads.
Huh. Cute old guy. Anyway, I'm gonna go into the town.
You come in and you're not too far behind Yassin. In fact, you see as Toblin is up at the bar with him, you can see the two of them conversing. And after a short time, about a minute or so, they're done. And Toblin notices somebody else who's coming into his establishment. He's like, "Oh, hang on, I'm sorry, I'm coming. Wow, busy night. It's not that I'm complaining, mind you. I love it. My name's Toblin. Welcome. This is my establishment, Stonehill Inn. I'm Toblin Stonehill, hence the name. Clever, right?
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
All right, I knew it.
Very nice.
So what can I do for you today, my lady?
Well, first off,
Lady.
do you let pets in?
I don't. He looks around and he goes, I don't see anything. What is it, invisible? What is it?
She's gonna give a little, and Crumbs is gonna crawl up on her shoulder.
Oh, look at a little rat. Oh, it's so cute. Is he tame? Is he?
Oh well, yes.
He kind of like reaches up like he wants to boot
Oh yeah,
Crumbs' nose. He's like,
he
yeah,
loves boots.
I know
Yes.
he's fine. Yeah, no, it's good. We try to avoid some of the larger,
How
pets.
big is Crumbs?
He's a rat. He's like about this
The rats get big.
big.
Yeah, the rats. Are big. You should look up some rats on people. They're like it's a thing.
It's a rodent of unusual size.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is this the RUS? Like what?
He's on my shoulder. It can't be that big.
No, he's we just try to avoid the larger, dog-like things, stuff like that.
Totally get it. Although Seth over there,
Oh yeah, I know Seth. Yeah.
you let him in here. Oh, accent change. Wow. Sorry.
he's a tabaxi. It's not it's not the same, right? They're not
Yes,
pets.
but he's quite good.
Oh yeah, no, of course he's weird. He's a lunatic, absolutely. But I mean, hey.
No, I'm just kidding. He actually told me I should come here for some dinner.
Oh, did he now? Oh, well, I'll have to thank him. As per our agreement, I should refer you to go to him and him alone because he is the best vendor in
Oh
town.
no, did.
Oh, thank God. I hate saying that, but it's part of our agreement.
Fine.
I will give you a good deal, I promise.
No problem.
But
I appreciate it.
I wish I never signed that contract, to be honest. Whatever.
I
So
don't
you
really think signing a contract with that kind of thing will actually work for you.
you'd think, right? But he was so persuasive, and
He does have some sort of charisma. I was like,
Yeah,
Magic. There
I
you
guess
go.
he rolled high on it, but anyway. So are you looking for a room tonight? Food, drink? What you need?
How much gold do I have? That is the question.
Oh, don't worry about gold right now. We'll get to that later. Just let me know what you need.
Food?
Food, yeah.
Food would be great. A little cheese here for my friend.
Oh yeah, we got that. No problem. Get some cheese and some grapes. You know, a little cheese and wine. It's a
Oh, he does
joke.
love grapes, but he can't
Okay.
have too many or else he'll get the shits.
Oh yeah, we
He just
don't.
doesn't.
We don't want that. I remember. I remember. Yeah. So.
That would be great. And then probably a room, yes.
Ah, we
We'll see
can.
how the night goes, I guess.
Sounds like a plan.
I don't mind sleeping outside.
Well, you don't have to sleep outside. We have plenty of rooms. No worries. Are you with anybody, or is this gonna be you for the night?
Just me, myself, Crumbs, and Lord Sneaky.
Lord Snooty.
Oh, don't worry about him.
Oh God, you like that. Okay, fine. So there's a table in the back there if you would like, and I'll be right along to bring all three of you something to. Of
Oh, Lord Sneaky doesn't eat.
course he doesn't.
Fine.
Why would he?
What an
was-
idiot.
Where is my table compared to like everyone else? Like, where is?
So up at the front of this establishment is Yassin, who
Right.
is enjoying his hors d'oeuvre spread and his ale. Probably about in the middle of the room to the right, as you're looking into your right, you can see a rather large individual making a scene of himself as he's trying to win the affections of Grim, the lady that you saw in the fountain earlier. And then your table really isn't too far. It's maybe like another table and then the one that's in the back corner.
I like the day prospect. But as I walk by Grim,
Mm.
I'm going to be like, is the emo good here? Emu? Good here?
Yeah. I'm drunk, okay?
You are.
Alright,
It's so good.
Oh, great.
alright. I will leave you to him. And I go up to the table.
Oh, to me.
Wait, consent first.
That's what I'm trying to get.
The lady doesn't want it. Stop it. You're making an
Oh.
ass of yourself.
If she wants it, come on, you can. She wants it.
Oh, yes. That is it.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna lean over to Grim. If you need another table,
Baby.
I'm gonna be over there. What? You can handle yourself. I got you.
Thanks.
You can sit with us, dear. I don't mind too.
That's okay, baby.
Sorry, my rat doesn't like you. And I go sit down.
Oh, no, you're. Oh, disease.
Dawson's just kind of like,
Ugh. Yeah, so-
Like, what?
No.
listening.
Is there anything else that you would like to do in this tavern before we cut
I'm
to?
actually going to sit down in the corner.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be like, no, I don't like it here. And I'm gonna go sit at the bar.
You sit in the bar. You gonna pull up
I don't like it here.
pull up a space next to Yassin?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to leave a seat in between because it's weird if you sit right next to somebody you don't know. But yeah, I'll
Sure.
leave right.
It's COVID. You can't do that.
He needs to get permission.
Consent first.
Consent. I'm trying to get down.
You calm down.
Chris, that voice is giving me goose pimples.
You're welcome. So,
Perfect. Just don't change a thing.
let's move to our last character, Emily. Can you tell us
Definitely not me.
who you are and what do you look like?
Okay. I gotta make sure I get my character name right because that would be really embarrassing if I didn't
Be
on the
fine.
first game. All right, I'm Astrella.
Okay.
I am half elf, so a little on the taller side, about 6 foot.
Cool.
Pretty plain, long brown hair, dark muted colors, light armor, minimal jewelry, just blending into the background, looking like a normal townsperson, just vibing, just watching. I have pointy elf ears. That's my favorite. I have a sun and a moon earring. I have a little dagger on my belt. I got a bag with some books in it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just kind of blend it.
Awesome. So approaching Phandalin during sunset, similar to everybody else, what brings you to town?
Much like Yassin, information. But as I reach this town, I realize a lot of book smarts, no street smarts. Not sure how to get the information. This is my journey. I'm here. As far as I've gotten.
As far as you've got.
Where I'm at.
So as you approach town, you're sort of the last of this party to arrive. You don't see the fiasco in the fountain, but you do see a blue genasi walking in, and then not too long after him, this monk airbender looking lady she walks into. So you kind of see those exchanges happening. And as you see shops and stuff start to close down, you also notice that there is this teenage girl who is just feverishly polishing this statue and muttering to herself, and she seems kind of really just at her wit's end, and she's doing everything she can to kind of get things done, the last bits of light, and she's kind of one of the only people you see. There's an older couple that's kind of walking in to the tavern that passes you, and these are the people who are in your vicinity.
Okay, can I go up to the teenage girl? Excuse me. Hi, sorry to bother you. I know everything is closing, it's sunset, but is there an apothecary or maybe like a healer in this town that I could check out like in the morning? I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. An apothecary. Yeah, we do have a healer. She's an elf. And actually, if you and she kind of points down the road. So as you walked up to her, literally around the other side of the fountain, think about the tavern on your left.
Okay.
So there's a kitty. Oh, look, it's a tabaxi.
He's destroying the world underneath him.
He's our final boss.
Meow.
For real.
So the tavern would be on your left. The magistrate building would be behind you.
I'll think chaos on his
Cat. The fountain is right in front of you, and sort of around the other side straight is where this little girl is pointing. She's like, if you head down that way, you'll find her. She stays open later than the rest of us. Healing can take place at any time. And so she's probably still there now. You could catch her if you want to.
Oh, thank you so much. And I immediately head off that way.
Cool. So as you're walking down, there's a few more people that pass you. Everybody's heading to the tavern. You can tell that really in this town, if you're not going home and going to bed or do whatever you do at home, you go to the tavern. But as you get closer to this area, there are tents sort of set up, and you see maybe 3 or 4 tents. They're a good size. And in front is this sign that says healer present. And as you walk around the sign and look at the back, you can see that it could swivel and healer not present. So it's basically an open and closed sign for you. And one of the tents is open. And as you approach and look inside, you notice there's a few people who are on some cots, sort of like wooden beds, very simple, just a sheet and kind of low to the ground. And sort of tending to them and walking around is this lady who is wearing a long white cloak, and underneath her clothes are a gray shirt, gray pants. Really nothing special about her. She's an elf, black hair, which really stands out against the white cloak. And you can see her sort of tending to everybody. And as you walk in, she notices a new person, and she goes, "Oh, hello. If you give me a moment, I'll be right with you. Are you sick by chance?"
No.
Then I would ask that you wait outside. It'd be better for you. I will be there in one moment.
Face mask. I'm ready. It's COVID.
You, as you kind of take a few steps back, you see her kneel at the bed of one person. Roll a perception check for me.
Okay. Perception. Ooh, 9.
9, okay. And so really all you can see as far as the man's ailments is that he looks sick. You can hear him coughing. You barely get a glimpse of his arm, and you can see that maybe there might be some sort of like a lesion, almost a black vein. But she sort of tucks it in underneath the sheet really quick. She checks his temperature with the palm of her hand. And then she puts her left palm on his forehead, and for a brief moment, you see a glow, very familiar glow to you. Being a cleric, you recognize healing magic. And she sort of says a small incantation. You watch him breathe a little bit easier, and then she moves away. And you see her walk up towards you. She steps outside and she closes the flaps to the tent. She goes, "Thank you for your patience. I just didn't want you to catch anything being healthy. I'm not entirely sure what everybody else has in here, but there does seem to be something spreading around town, so trying to avoid contact as much as possible. How may I help you? My name is, I'm not making this up on the spot. My name is Stella, and I am the local healer. Oh, shut up, Grim. I am the local healer here. What can I do for you?" And you see that she is actually an elf. You can see her ears pointed, a little bit taller than yours, making you believe that she might be a full-blooded elf. And she has a very calm demeanor, gives away nothing of emotion in her face, really.
Interesting. Okay, so I wanted to ask her about any mysterious illnesses, if they found a way to combat them, and if she has any medical journals I could maybe read.
Well, interesting that you bring that up. There is an illness that seems to be spreading throughout Phandalin. I do not know if it's gone further than our borders, but best way to describe it is a blight. It infects any living creature, crops, cattle, people, all the same. It's this almost black disease that crawls up the arms, the neck. Eventually, it seems to get into the major organs, perhaps, and well, people die. And I haven't found a cure for it just yet. What intrigues me the most is that it affects, well, plants and animals alike. I've never heard of something like that, to be honest, in my 100 years of medical research. I do have a few journals that I'd be willing to share with you. Wait one moment, please. And she walks into the tent, flaps close. A couple of minutes later, she comes back out and she hands you a journal and she goes, "You're free to look through this as you will."
Thank you so much. Can I bring these back to you tomorrow?
Are you staying at the tavern for the night?
Yes.
That would be fine, sure. First thing in the morning, if you don't mind, I still have more research to do, but you'll find a lot of information on there. May I ask, who are you?
My name is Astrella. Nope, that's not my name.
Huh?
Your name. Astrella. Thank you. Oh. That's going to confuse me for the whole game, Chris.
It's so similar, and I knew you also being an elf. I swear I didn't steal your name.
I am a healer from my own town, and I am just expanding my knowledge.
Oh, that's excellent. Really. Do you have journals yourself that you've kept on some of your illnesses?
I do.
Perhaps we could do an exchange for the night. I would love to learn what you have discovered in your area.
Sure. I will hand her my journal.
And she takes it from her and she goes, oh my. And she goes, "Oh, this will keep me up all night, but I look forward to it." And you see for the first time a glimmer of like emotion cross her face as she like beams at this journal. And she goes, and she sort of tucks it underneath her robe into a little pocket that she has in her cloak. And she goes, well, if there's nothing else, then
I will see you in the morning.
sounds good. Smashing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, Melissa.
So you could say she gave Stella her groove back. You said she looked
I gotta go. I'm sorry. This has been fun. Good night. Okay.
And that is where we'll stop.
That's where we're ending. Okay, so as soon as she goes back inside, I'm gonna go like sit by the fountain.
Okay.
I gave her a medical journal that's just kind of like the average stuff. Oh, hi, Kat. I gave her a medical journal that was just like the average stuff, but I put out like a little secret journal. Little secret journal has a map. Little secret journal has a map of different cities with just kind of the description that you gave of the illness, how it's affecting people, kind of what they're doing to stop it. Just a little like map. And I just kind of jot down what she told me about it. Jot down kind of how it's affecting people, her name and stuff like that. And then I just took it back in.
Okay, nice. And you do so. There's really nobody around to watch you do this or inquire about it. But by now, you can start to see some stars start to appear now. It's getting much later. The sun is completely gone and set. But you notice, as all four of you have noticed before on various nights, that cut in the sky, that gash of color, you can see it even here in Phandalin. And you just take note of that. And it sort of bothers you a little bit. And you're not sure what the hell it is, but it's there. And as you proceed into the tavern, I imagine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't want to look at that creepy thing in the sky anymore. I'm going inside.
So as you walk in, you kind of come in very close to the time where the cat,
He's helping. He's helping.
He's fine.
Being big bad.
You walk in around the time where you see this large man sitting next to this lady with a metal arm, and you just see him go, well, if you're not coming to my room, then I'm not paying for any more of your booze.
Is it my turn now?
Oh, you can jump in now. Y'all are in the room together.
Oh God. I'm gonna bypass that and just walk into the corner while that's happening. I'm not getting involved in that shit. Not at all.
He's actually going to hear the commotion and jump out from the bar and like get between him and the groom and be like, what did we talk about?
Yassin is still spying, like
Sipping his water.
You calm down. You need to accept that she said no.
And then I tell you on the shoulder. And I tell you, I got this.
Okay. I just don't appreciate rude people.
oh.
If I need backup, I will call for you, Sunflower.
That's true.
The nicknames begin. I'm not paying for any more of your drinks. You're not welcome at my table.
Do you know I have a pet rat too?
Do you have a reaction, Grim? Or are you just going to walk away?
Thanks for the food.
At this time, Toblin walks up to you, and he has that look on his face like, and he walks past you over to this large portly man, and he goes, all right, time to pay up, and time for you to leave. You've caused enough of a commotion. Thank you. What? I'm not paying for her food? What, because she wouldn't sleep with you? We all know why you're here. Pay up and go. I swear.
Nim's gonna stand behind Toblin and be like, you heard the man.
That's right. Yeah, you tell her, Nim. You tell him. That's right. And the portly gentleman just looks flustered. He gets like beet red, like almost like a purple color, and he just drops some gold on the table. And he goes, and he just storms out.
This giant Colonel Sanders lookalike.
Uh-huh.
And he walks out. And so Toblin, he looks at you, Astrella. Estrella. He looks at you and he goes, hi, I was waiting on you to arrive here. About time. You're late.
I'm sorry?
Rusty's the one.
You're Astrella, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep. Nim, and he points at you.
That's me.
And of course, the other two, we've got Grim over there. Yassin! And he calls. Perfect. Right now that all four of you have arrived, finally, come with me, please. And that's all he says. And you see him walk towards this staircase that's behind, not behind, but like next to the bar. And you see this kind of staircase go up. And that's where people would go up to their rooms and everything like that. And he just sort of stands on the staircase and looks behind him and he goes, I don't have all night.
I'm into play, but this is a little too many.
And hold that thought. You just hold on to that, my dear. It's you're fun, and as much as I'd like to, I can't. You kill me. The rest of you coming?
I'm gonna leave.
Sure, I go follow him.
Oh,
Yassin tries to get Grim and assist.
Let's go.
Oh, appreciate it. I was about to fall on my ass.
oh, we're just carrying people now. Okay, sure. I'll take up the rear and I'll go.
All right, I'm good. I'm glad you all decided to come. All right.
I don't know if Grim really decided.
I don't.
Harry, which
no
he does not
There's no
say
consent in
no
this
to
situation.
being Sherpa'd around.
Toblin looks around and he goes, Yassin, did you ask for consent?
Nim's gonna come up behind
I
me.
assumed.
Are you good, Grim?
Well, you know what? Assuming does.
Are you good, Grim?
Oh, damn. I'm good.
Okay, fine. As long as you're good, I don't really give a shit. Come on.
Take his arm and I squeeze it. I'm like, I'm drunk.
And so the four of you, three of you on your own power, one of you just cradled in the loving arms of a water genasi, go. The four of you follow Toblin up the stairs, and he turns a corner and he just walks down this hallway. And the four of you continue following him, and then something happens that doesn't make any sense. As you're walking, the hallway stops being a hallway and becomes a room. It just does. There was no portal. There was no magical energy. None of you could feel anything or see anything. Suddenly you were in a hallway and almost like you blinked and now you're in a room. And as you turn, all of you turn and look behind you, there's a wall and a door. There's a way out.
Okay.
There's windows. You're not trapped or anything. You're just suddenly in a room. But as you look out the windows, I want to see who has the highest passive perception. So this is a new thing here. If you look where your saving throws are on the left, below that, you're going to see passive wisdom, passive investigation, insight, and you see a number to the left of that. So the one that says perception, what does those say for everybody?
10.
16, 10,
13.
13, 14.
But not
Okay.
me.
So Nim, you see this clearly, and you see it first. Eventually, all of you do. 10 was the one to beat. It's through the windows. You can see space. It's color and stars. It's as if you're surrounded by a nebula. And out of every window is nothing but this cloud of color and energy of various colors just casually outside this space. And in the center of the room is a man, tall. His hair is pure white, long down past his shoulders. His skin is dark, like granite or graphite, just almost stonish in texture, but a very dark gray tone. His clothing is the exact opposite of his skin, bright reds with a cape made of glittering gold, very shiny material. Those of you who are mages, Grim and Astrella, you can feel energy emanating off of him in waves, almost as if he's pulsating in the center of the room, just a whoom, whoom. You can feel his magic. It's strong. As he turns, he bows deeply and raises, and as he does, you see that his eyes are white with red irises. And they almost glow. There's an intensity behind him. And he goes, "Welcome, all of you. I'm glad to see that you have all finally arrived. It's been some time that I have been waiting for the four of you."
How much did I drink?
My dear Grim, I guarantee you it's all real. None of it is in your mind. Though you are drunk as a skunk.
Well,
Forgive me. Let me introduce myself. My name is Thonis. 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 Well, in a way, I have called you all here. Not directly, mind you, but I was able to pull certain strings so that you would all arrive here in this tavern where my friend Toblin gathered you and brought you to me. But Toblin, thank you. You can go now. Whatever you say, Thonis, of course. Have a good one. And you notice that Toblin's acting different. He's not as jovial. He's not as energetic. He just sort of acknowledges and walks away, opens and closes the door. You see when he opens the door that there is another hallway, similar to the one you just came from, you know. But again, you never really passed through it. He closes the door and he goes, "Good. Now we can talk freely. I'm sure you're all wondering why you are here, yes?"
Yeah.
Well, good. Have you all seen something in the night sky? A tear, color, like a string through the stars. Have you all seen this?
Yes.
Yes. And some strange folks have been wandering around recently too.
You have noticed them, yes. People from unfamiliar lands, yes.
Mhm.
Good.
yeah.
Good. It is as I feared. Come, I wish to show you something. And he goes, and as he snaps and crosses his arms, the room is gone, and you are outside. And you can see this tavern, and it's not the tavern you walked into. It's not Phandolin's tavern. This is a new structure, different, multi-storied, and almost dilapidated. It's not gross looking, just old. It's seen better days. But what's striking is what's around you. It's almost as if you're on the top of a mountain plateau. The rock is all flat and gray. There are no trees, there are no mountains, there is no nature. All there is gray rock, the tavern, and this nebula of energy all around, encompassing. These here, and he points to all the different colors you can see, the greens and the reds and the blues. These are realities, realms, if you will, that all converge here at my tavern. And he motions behind him to the tavern. This is a tavern of realms, if you will. It connects me to Fandolin and to Tobin's place, to Berk, and Hyrule, and Arshada. Many realms converge here. And I am the keeper. I look over them. I sense a distrust from you, Grim.
So what's the deal, random dude?
It is
What
fair
is
of you to-
Oh, shit.
You can put her down now. I believe she could walk on her own. Good. Consent, my boy, consent.
My God.
Running gag everywhere.
Because that's a fair question, Grim. I have watched all of you for most of your life, and thus chosen you to be my champions. Nim, I sense this is perhaps disturbing to you.
A bit. Don't like people walking, like watching me. That's weird,
Like a creepy Santa Claus.
right? I
If-
didn't like Santa either, and I never believed in him.
I know him. He's a good guy. Look, here's the thing. This crack that you have all seen, this is a problem. The fabric of realities are
Merging.
collapsing, merging. Yes, Grim, they are merging. And I can no longer keep them separate. You see, that is my job here, is to keep the realities separate, to watch over them. It is the task I was given since the time began. And I've done it for millennia, eons. But I am dying and can no longer do this anymore. So I have called you, all of you, to be my champions, to go into these realms and to fix what is wrong, and to bring me the relic from each land, a piece of myself. You see, when I was young, I put a piece of myself in each of 6 relics and spread them.
Voldemort!
These poor girls.
Everybody kidding me?
I'm sorry. Couldn't help it.
Shush, shush. And I spread them throughout these realms as a means for me to be able to observe and protect. But I am dying, and I need those relics back. Apparently, my age is coming to an end. I have had champions before. They have all failed. I sense a question, Grim.
So, is the crack connected to you?
I suspect maybe, perhaps. It is as good a guess as any. As I weaken, it seems to get stronger.
Hmm.
Perhaps it has something to do with me. I won't know until I am a full, whole creature again, until all of my pieces are back. Perhaps then I will have the power to undo what is done, to fully separate the realms so that they no longer will touch.
So, what do we get if we help you?
Are you looking for treasures, riches, perhaps?
Maybe everybody gets an answer?
An answer to what?
Whatever they want.
You think me a genie, and perhaps to you, I seem that way.
I'm going to look around him a little bit.
Roll an investigation check.
Okay.
I mean, if you're looking at this
Yeah,
guy,
no, I'm
let's
looking
go.
him
Roll
down.
investigation.
15 plus 2, 17.
17, not bad. There are 2 things that really stand out to you. One is that on his belt,
Ready?
there is an elaborate object on there. Looks like it could be a dagger. And there's something about it that feels similar to the gem that you have in your satchel. You get a similar vibe from it. The second thing that you notice is that his hand is shaking. and you see that he's trying to hide it, and he puts it behind his back, but you can still see the twitch in his bicep. And there is evidence that he perhaps is telling the truth, at least about his health. So that's what you notice with that. Do you do anything with this information, or?
I'm gonna lean over to Grim and be like, I don't see a lamp. So I don't think there's a genie. Well, I don't know. Could be powerful. Could just be we're going treasure hunting. I don't know. But
why?
Why? It is a fair question that you ask. What is in it for you? Merely this: survival. You see, as the realms converge, all will die. Now, if you help to save them, I can guarantee that there will be some very powerful people who will probably shower you with money and power and fame and wealth. The realms will owe you a great debt. What I can assure you is if you help me, I will do all I can to answer, and he looks at you, Grim, your questions, whatever they may be.
Okay. I'm just in the background at this point. Hey, I'm just in the background at this point, clutching some books. What roll can I make to see if I'm fucking dreaming?
Roll a
I would
perception.
also like to participate.
The two of you can roll a perception check.
Oh shit. I got sweats. I got nervous sweats, and I'm just.
oh, baby.
Oh God. Okay. All right. You said. 21.
15.
Nice. The roll to beat was a 10 on this one. Very simple roll.
Okay.
The two of you can go through whatever rituals you want. You pinch yourself, you slap yourself, you whatever. Somebody grabs Missy's Grimm's tankard of brandy and dumps it on their head. Whatever you want to do. You're away. You're
Yeah, go for the break.
you are 100% awake. You are not dreaming. You can tell you're not dreaming. And what you can tell the most is for you. I was going for the other one first. Yassin, there we go. I will learn your names. For you, Yassin, what you can tell the most is that this feels as real as being aboard a ship. The way the currents of energy move around you, the way the rock feels. It's no different than being on the deck of a ship, your ship, and sailing the seas on a clear day where the wind is just right and everything is smooth. Most people wouldn't be able to tell, but you can feel those eddies and currents and the energy around you. Astrella, you can feel Faunus's energy, and you know that no dream, no meditation that you've done in the past has ever produced a vision with that much power. You know that he is strong, and more than anything, you ground your reality around his. It's like he's a gravity well, and you just feel his strength, and you go, yeah, no shit, this is real. And and it frightens all of you a little bit to know that maybe not Grim as much. He hides it, but there's a little fear, a little pucker factor. He looks at all of you and he goes, look, you have a choice. You can, and you watch him sort of move his hands in a very Doctor Strange fashion and just sort of sling rings a portal that just sort of grows and grows and grows and opens full, big enough for a person to walk through. And on the other side, you see Phandalin. You see the tavern where you just were, all of you. You can see Toblin waving at people and serving drinks and everything. And he looks and he goes, if you wish, you may leave and walk through that portal. And I will never bother you again. You can live the life that you wish to live. But if you are the people I think you are, then head into my tower. And you watch as the door opens to his establishment and work with me to help save these realms. If you want riches, they will be had. If you want power, you will find it. But if you just want to help, that I need more than anything. The choice is yours. And with that, you watch him step back, and as he does, he sort of vanishes. But the portal stays open, and the door to his tavern stay open. And so all of you have a choice before you. Do you choose to go home and live your life however you want? Or do you choose to go into the tavern and see what Faunus is made of? And also, you can talk to each other. You're all together, so you can discuss and debate however you want.
Nim's going to like randomly pop up between Yassin and Estrella. She hasn't really talked to them, and just kind of like some creepy voodoo shit going on here. Well,
Oh my gosh.
I'm intrigued. I don't know about you guys. Grim, you good? You need help inside or through the portal?
I'm good. But how are we supposed to fix anything when I got Fish Boy, Snow White, and I don't even know what you are.
Call her Sunflower or something like that.
Sunflower gonna kill and make it through portals. What you got?
I mean,
Determination.
so we've got that.
And
And
muscles.
I've got muscles. I've got some muscles. I've also got a rat, and I've got my bow staff. I've got my martial arts skills. I'm a monk. I do crazy cool monk shit. Yeah.
What is crazy cool?
I'd love to find out.
Nim's actually going to like do a few like just like random like flips and aerials and shit, and like run up the side of the tavern and like flip backwards. Like
Roll to see if that actually happens.
Roll an acrobatics check.
I got like a +8 to acrobatics. It should be fine.
Let's see how good you do with this.
18.
All right. With an 8, everything the way you said it happens, and all of you can see that while she is a big bright spot of sun and arrogance, she backs it up and she knows what she's doing.
Okay. So we got flippity doo, positivity, and muscles.
I also have water. And Yassin casts like shape water to like form the water in his hand.
And so since you with using shape water, you have to pull from a water source that exists. The nearest water source is going to be the brandy that Grim has. And so you start to take this brandy out, and you're like manipulating it and doing cool shit with it, and just kind of like, you know.
Unless you can put that back in the bottle, I don't want to talk to you.
I put it back.
It goes back in, and everything is good to go. And at this time, I would say, since you spent more time with the ale than the brandy, you have about half a pint of brandy left that you can drink at your leisure.
Sweet. Any questions? Concerns? Are any of you going home?
How do we want to do this?
So that's a yeah.
I mean, I could do a lot of things. I could cartwheel in there. I could cartwheel up there. I'm okay with staying, but I don't like fighting things by myself.
Well, if nobody else goes, I'm walking in that tavern.
Nim's gonna like put an arm around Grim's shoulder, like, you know, just like, we're in. Watch out.
Grim's faces are priceless.
There's no consent in that.
Oh, I'm so
What about consent, Miss Nim?
so sorry. I thought we were friends now. So sorry.
Yassin thinks it over for a second and then decides that they're good people out there who are going to need help. So I'm going into the tower.
All right, that's 3 in, one left. It's down to you, Astrella.
I'm not going
Well,
to. Like say.
The crack has always given me an uneasy feeling, and I don't think I can go back to that with questions unanswered. So hesitantly, I will go.
She goes for the crack.
Every time.
So as the 4 of you walk
in that
into the Tavern of
Not
Realms,
safe.
the door closes behind you. And as it does, the camera pans back and we see the fullness of the tavern, the brightness of the galaxy and nebula that surrounds it. And as the door closes, as all of you step inside, for a brief moment, everything gets brighter. And that's where we end tonight's session.
Oh my god! I'm
Well done.
sweaty, guys.